Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube, and I have a video here for you I wanted to make because it's something that kind of slid by me. I didn't really catch it the first time around, but I recently found this story. I wanted to show you something I think is very interesting. What we're talking about here are signs from the heavens, signs from God. Oftentimes here on the channel we'll explore the language of symbols, which is very real, and in this day and time we're seeing it everywhere. But I also believe that God gives us signs in the real world. God can give you signs in your own life. Sometimes we find these stories on the news that I feel are literally stories from the heavens, stories from God, signs from God. I believe that God is constantly sending us warnings in these days. And these particular signs are very unusual. They're supernatural, paranormal. And not everyone is going to have the eyes to see these things or the ears to hear. Before I show you the main story I wanted to focus on, I just want to show you a few examples of where God has been giving us signs. God has been showing us signs of the times we're in. The Pope Francis peace doves were attacked at the Vatican. Here's a story from just a few years ago, and I covered it here on the channel. Other people covered it as well, because it was very important, I thought, and once again, many of us saw the signs here. So what kind of a sign was this? What does this mean? Most of us see this as really obvious. The peace doves were attacked. When they call for peace and safety, brace, right? Because something's coming. So as far as I'm concerned, this example right here is a perfect example of us being shown something through the spiritual. We understand the message. It comes to us in a strange way, but we get it. Now here's another example I think is really solid. You probably remember this from just a few years back. It was during the Olympics. Gold medal ceremony. As they started playing America's national anthem, shortly thereafter the American flag actually broke free and fell to the ground. Once again, I don't think you have to look too deep to understand what this message was. So again, I don't think it's a reach to say that this right here was a sign from the heavens or a sign from God, a spiritual sign that America is in a lot of trouble. And speaking of flags, here's another story you may remember from a few years back. There were American flags that were on the Brooklyn Bridge. They were taken down and bleached and then replaced. So we had white flags all along the Brooklyn Bridge. And what's key here to really remember is what flags they once were. These were the American flags, right? And a white flag is a symbol or a sign of distress or retreat. And regardless in a situation like this of the, quote, official story, you'll always get the official story on these things. You know, who really did this and why, and sometimes it turns out to be an artist or, whatever. But to me, none of that stuff matters. It's the symbol itself. It's the fact the story went big, the story is out there. And most importantly, how it's connecting to everything else we're seeing right now happening in America and all across the world. That things are changing, and we feel this darkness growing. We have our confirmations there. So those were just a few examples I wanted to share with you and show you that certainly this isn't the first time we've seen signs like this, specifically in reference to America and what's happening to America right now. This right here is the story I wanted to share with you. It's from endoftheamericandream.com. The writer is Michael Snyder. 13 bald eagles found dead in Maryland related to the death of Justice Scalia on February 13th. I'm going to leave a link below to the article because I think this is a fascinating find, but I'm going to read it for you right here in the video. And here it starts. It is a fact that Supreme Court Justice Scalia died on February 13th. It is also a fact that 13 bald eagles were found dead near Federalsburg, Maryland, this past weekend. Could it be possible that those two events are related? The bald eagle is both the national bird and the national animal of the United States, and it appears on our Great Seal. And of course there were 13 states when the U.S. Constitution was originally ratified, and Maryland is one of those states. So some are suggesting that these 13 dead bald eagles are a sign that the death of Supreme Court Justice Scalia represents the beginning of the end for the U.S. Constitution. And others are suggesting that this may be a sign of the death of America as a whole. So when I first heard about this mass death of bald eagles, I didn't think too much of it, but the more I looked into it, the more amazing the supposed coincidences became. It was during the weekend of Scalia's death that the bald eagles were discovered near the town of Federalsburg, and the following comes from NBC News. 13 bald eagles were found dead at a Maryland area farm over the weekend, and federal authorities are currently investigating and offering a reward for any information. The Maryland Natural Resources Police were first called to the scene on Saturday afternoon after a man discovered 4 dead bald eagles on a farm in Maryland's Eastern Shore region, according to NRP spokeswoman Candy Thompson. So this incident represented the single largest die-off of bald eagles in the state of Maryland in 30 years. And of course, everyone knows that it's illegal to kill them. In fact, under federal law, you can be fined up to $100,000 for killing a single bald eagle. Everyone also knows that the bald eagle represents America, so the fact that the bald eagles were found dead is not a good sign for us. And without a doubt, the number 13 has a tremendous amount of significance for our country as well. In addition to 13 original colonies, there are also 13 stripes on the American flag to this day. In addition, we have the additional factor of Justice Scalia dying on the 13th. So could this be the key to tying it all together? Traditionally, the number 13 has been considered to be bad luck. In the Bible, it is considered to be the number of rebellion and lawlessness, and throughout history it has been a number of extraordinary significance for the Illuminati and other secret societies. In an article for Charisma News, Ricky Scaparo detailed some of the other ways that the number 13 is incredibly significant. Nimrod, the mighty hunter who was before the Lord, was the 13th in Ham's line. 13 represents all the governments created by men and inspired by Satan in outright rebellion against the eternal. America as a nation has continued to rebel against God through idolatry, legalized abominations, and the list continues. The phrase Valley of Hinnom occurs in 13 places in Scripture. The valley was the scene of the evil-inspired rites of the pagan god Moloch. Moloch was an idol god that was worshipped by the Phoenicians, and in this worship it included child sacrifice, or passing children through the fire. It's believed that the idols of Moloch were giant statues of a man with a bull's head. Each idol had a hole carved out in the abdomen and possibly outstretched forearms that made a kind of ramp to the hole. A fire was lit in or around the statue, and babies were placed in the statue's arms or in the hole. Today we don't see this in America, but children are aborted daily by a practice of removing the child from the belly of its mother. The dragon, a symbol for Satan, is found 13 times in Revelation. Satan is behind all rebellion against God. And in Romans chapter 1, Paul lists 23 characteristics of sinful people who have a debased or reprobate mind. The 13th characteristic is that they are haters of God. The American dollar itself even has the number 13 embedded all over it. There are 13 steps on the pyramid of the Great Seal. There's 13 letters in Inuit Septus, 13 stripes in the shield on the eagle. There's 13 stars above the eagle. There's 13 letters in E Pluribus Unum. There's 13 arrows in the eagle's left talon, and there's 13 leaves and 13 fruits on the olive branch in its right talon. So I don't have all the answers, but I do believe that this is a sign that is significant for the United States. The bald eagle is the symbol of our nation, and 13 of them died just a few days after the Supreme Court justice was found dead. Many people saw Justice Scalia as the foremost defender of the U.S. Constitution on the Supreme Court, and his death was a massive blow to those that truly love liberty and freedom. Once again, I don't know what all of this means exactly, but things were already looking incredibly bleak for our country even before the death of Scalia. Our country is dying a little bit more every day, and the signs are all around us. So could the death of these 13 bald eagles also be a sign that the death of the United States as a whole is rapidly approaching? And that concludes the article by Michael Snyder, 13 bald eagles found dead in Maryland related to the death of Justice Scalia on February 13th, ? And I'll leave a link below for you to read that if you'd like. So we've taken a look at a few of these signs, right? These signs of things to come, these warnings. Now these specific signs we have to look at more through the spiritual. But in closing, I wanted to share this with you right here. There are lots of mysterious deaths and mysterious murders happening. Now in this case, they seem to be targeting the holistic doctors. You can see right here, 29 holistic doctors and practitioners have been found poisoned, some nearly dead. Could this be another attack on alternative medicine? And I say absolutely. This is one of those signs that's right in front of your face. The New World Order is approaching quickly. We've been seeing the dismantling of America for many years now. We're seeing all the chaos spread around the globe right now. It's not just America, it's everywhere. So this beast system is making its move. It has been. And to have this one world order, they're going to have to take out a lot of truth. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that all truth is coming out. Everything's being revealed, everything's being exposed, and this is all just a part of the battle. And lastly, I want to leave you with what I find to be a very shocking video of a targeted individual, or at least so it seems. This right here is Erin Elizabeth. She's the founder of Health Nut News, and she's been a long-time activist, specifically in reference to alternative medicine and holistic healing, things like this. She's a writer, public speaker. She's really been out there doing this, like I said, for a long time. She's also been incredibly outspoken about all of these mysterious deaths with all these people in the healthcare industry, specifically alternative medicine. And now it seems that they, whoever they are, have targeted Erin Elizabeth, or so it would seem. I'm going to leave this video here at the very end for you to see. I want you to check this out for yourself, but to me it's very real evidence of somebody being targeted and what kind of games they play with these people. Otherwise, I want to thank you for watching the video. Thanks for taking the time, and I'd love to hear your comments below. Do you think that these eagles correlate with the death of Scalia? Do you think there's a sign there? Do you actually believe that we're given these kind of spiritual signs? Once again, I just want to thank you for watching the video. Take care out there. I'll talk to you real soon.
I want you to see what the phone is doing. It's just going to call various people. Thank God I got this on video. See this, Billy? This is what's happening. I'm not dialing any of these numbers. I'm not touching the phone. Thank God. My phone, I've been gone 5 days. It doesn't do it. It only does it at my house. As you can see, someone else is controlling the phone, Billy. I'm not touching it. Here's my fingers on the sides. Not touching anything. See? On the sides. Not touching the screen. There's nothing I'm touching on the side. Oh, look, it's typing to me. It told me earlier I had cancer, something about cancer. It's typing right now. It did not do this when I was out of town. Thank goodness I got it recorded. It's really getting scary. Sometimes they type me messages like you have cancer. Wow. Okay, as you can see, the phone is acting on its own. I'm not doing anything. And there's nothing wrong with my phone. I was just out of town in LA at CalJam speaking with Dr. Mercola, and it did nothing. I want you to see this, and I'm going to probably put it on YouTube to show you that my phone is being controlled somehow by someone else. When we were gone and when I travel and when I'm not at home, I was just out for hours doing all my tests for my stem cells. It didn't do anything like this. Only when I'm in my house is it doing this. Now, we have security watching the home because, you know, I've been writing about the dead doctors and they are concerned. But one of the things is if they were using devices on it, they said your phone would go haywire like this. I mean, if they were trying to use some, I don't know what kind of devices. In fact, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So you see, I'm not touching the phone. Here, in fact, just so in case you think I'm touching like the side, I'm just going to hold it like this. So Billy, I want you to see this, and I want other folks to see this as well. And I'm not talking about Billy DeMoss. I will not be given a last name. But this is insane. And I didn't believe the medical doctors who told me that if my phone started acting up like this, and there's nothing wrong with the phone. I have been traveling. I've been, you know, various places. The phone has not had any problems at all. I was just out for hours today at the doctor's office filling out paperwork. No problems, only when I'm in my home, and especially outside in the yard. I was outside in the yard in the phone today, and it did this. Anyway, we have had experts come out to the house and explain if we watch for technical devices in the house start going haywire, if someone were trying to hit us with, you know, I don't know what they put on your house, devices that they have, and I didn't believe any of this. I was a skeptic and thought these trained, some of them ex-federal agents, were insane to make such claims, but I'm starting to believe it. Not touching anything. Again, I can be traveling all the way to California, use my phone on a plane. It doesn't do anything, but as soon as I can home, it does this, and sometimes it actually types me messages. Earlier, I have one that just said cancer, cancer over and over. You guys can think I'm insane, but I don't know how I could possibly, all my fingers are free here. Yeah, you can really get a good look. I don't know how I could possibly fake this. And thank goodness I had a camera nearby when this happened. I have had death threats made on my life since I began the series on the alternative doctors. I am with the, he has the #1 health site for 19 years, holistic doctor in the country or world. Well, #1 health site in the world. And this has got to stop. So I'm recording this and we'll be sending it to the people who are helping keep an eye on what's going on. Again, I'm not paranoid. I still tell people not to live in fear, but I wanted to make a video to document this. You can see what's going on, and I'm going to put it on YouTube and send it to the proper channels right now. Would I send it to the authorities? I don't think they'd care, because we sent certified letters to the Federal Bureau of Investigation after, the 20th, the 30th doctor. Many of our friends who were found dead, alleged suicide or murdered, and the FBI didn't even bother to respond to the certified letters by the doctors demanding that an investigation be done. Is this coincidence? Sure, maybe all the deaths are coincidence, but there's no faking this. And I'm sure someone will say, oh, it's just a problem with your phone. Again, I was in Atlanta. I was in Southern California. I was gone, away from my home today, several miles away for hours. Great. As soon as I come home, the phone starts acting up again, especially outside in the yard.